Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA 5 video, I'm going to be telling you how much money you're going to need for the upcoming Grand Theft Auto Online Los Santos Summer Special DLC, which is going to be arriving on August 11th in just a couple of days. So that's the big question here. With such a unique update, how much cash are you going to need on day one to be able to purchase everything? And this summer update is a little bit different because it doesn't necessarily have like a particular theme. It's very much like a diverse mixed bag of like various little goodies for us to enjoy. But there's still a lot of stuff for us to purchase, and because of that, I want to discuss how much money you're going to end up needing. And I would obviously love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Feel free to let me know how much money you think we're going to need for this update. Do you think it'll be $5 million, $10 million, less than that, more than that? Again, let me know what you guys are thinking in those comments down below. So let's begin with what I believe is going to be the biggest purchase that you're probably going to have to make on day one, and that is all the vehicles. It's certainly the thing that I am the most excited about in this update, and Rockstar has confirmed that there are going to be at least more than 12 new vehicles. On the Newswire the other day, they said that auto websites, so I would imagine that would include Legendary Motorsports site, Southern San Andreas Super Autos, Benny's, which we'll talk about in a bit, they confirmed that those websites will be getting more than a dozen new vehicles to purchase. So obviously, I think that means that we're going to be getting some range between 12 and 24 vehicles. Because if it was going to be more than 24 vehicles, Rockstar would have said more than 2 dozen. But because they said more than a dozen, it's somewhere going to be between 12 and 24. Now, what that amount is going to be, I'm not sure. I think it will likely be somewhere in the middle, probably around 15, 16, or 17 vehicles. Now, that's just the first part of this equation, and we know that all of those vehicles will not be releasing on day one. And the reason we know that is obviously because of what Rockstar's done in the past. We know that they typically do weeks and months of drip-fed content, where over the next couple of weeks and months, we'll see weekly events and specials where more vehicles are released. And Rockstar even confirmed that on their Newswire as well, saying that there will be an ongoing series of weekly special events and bonuses to take part in over the next coming months. So let's just assume that there is going to be anywhere from 12 to 24 vehicles. I would imagine that we would probably not get more than half of them on day one, because that would mean that Rockstar only has a very limited amount to release over the next couple of weeks and months. So on the low end, if there's going to be 12 total vehicles, I wouldn't expect to get more than 6 on Tuesday when the update arrives. And if it's as high as 24 vehicles, I would expect that we wouldn't get more than 12 on day one. Now, that is a lot. I personally don't think it's going to be 24 total vehicles. Like, even the last 2 updates, the Diamond Casino and Resort and Casino Heist, didn't get 24 total vehicles. So that's why I'm imagining it'll probably be around like the 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 probably at the high end amount of vehicles. And again, expect to get half of those on day one. Now, the tricky part about vehicles is it looks like all of them are going to be so different. As Rockstar have concluded, some rides are going to be customizable at Benny's. Some will be off-road. Some will be tunable sports cars. They have confirmed that at least 2 of the new vehicles will be open-wheel cars. So we know how expensive those are. And we also know that there's going to be at least 1 supercar, with what Rockstar has shown off so far. So now that we know how many vehicles are going to be coming, let's take a look at the vehicles we know so far. And we'll begin with the first vehicle that Rockstar showed off, and that is the Lampadati supercar that still is unnamed. So we don't know what the name of this vehicle is going to be. We don't know how it's going to perform. In a separate video, I covered what I believe the price of this vehicle was, looking at existing supercars that Rockstar had added, and also looking at the price of Lampadati vehicles in the game. So I said that this was roughly going to be around $2 to $3 million. So that's the first vehicle that Rockstar ended up showing off. The next vehicle that they ended up showing off was the very first one on the Newswire the other day, and it's this like either sports classic or muscle car vehicle in the yellow that is escaping the police. And we'll dive into the specifics of what these new vehicles could be as we go on a little bit later in the day. In fact, that might even be a separate video. But for now, let's talk about this one. since we know it's going to be one of the ones featured. And I would imagine that all the vehicles Rockstar have shown off on the newswire will be the ones that will be available on day one. To me, that kind of makes the most sense. Like, why would you tease something and then not have it available? So I think that everything you've seen will be able to purchase on day one. So I think this vehicle will probably be around like $1 million, maybe $1.5 million. The tricky part about some of this is we don't know if this is like a Benny's vehicle, like if this is an existing car that's just been Benified, if that's even a word. I guess I'm making it one right now. But you guys get the idea. Muscle cars, typically a little bit less expensive than the supercars and the sports cars. So I would imagine that would be a little bit less expensive. Now, the only other vehicles we get an idea of is at least one of the open wheel cars that's going to be added, and it's this menacing creature right here, which obviously looks insane. Now, I would imagine that Rockstar is going to price this very similarly to the other open wheel vehicles in the game, the Progen PR4 and the Ocelot R88. The PR4 is $3,515,000, which is ridiculously pricey, and the Ocelot R88 is $3,115,000, also very expensive. So if these vehicles are going to be better or faster than both of those, they probably are going to be equally, if not more expensive. And Rockstar have confirmed that there's going to be two of them. So right then and there for the open wheel vehicles, you're probably looking at about like $7 to $8 million alone. So even though there's not a lot of vehicles here, they look like they are definitely going to be on the pricier end. And those are just the vehicles that we've seen so far. Remember, there's going to be other ones like Benny's and off-roaders and tunable sports cars. So I would say with vehicles alone, you're probably looking at about close to like $12 to $15 million so far just on the vehicles we know. And there could obviously be a whole lot more that we have no clue about. Now, other than that, we don't have a ton of other details on things that you're going to have to purchase in order to take advantage of. But one of those things we do know is that Galaxy Super Yacht owners are going to be able to engage in an all-new series of missions. So Rockstar was very specific there. You have to own a Galaxy Super Yacht if you want to play this stuff. Now, I would imagine a lot of you guys already have a Galaxy Super Yacht, but for those of you that have not gotten your hands on that, this is going to be something you'll have to add to the list if you want to participate. And the way the yachts work, because it's been a couple of years, you've got 3 different variants of them. You've got the Orion, which is the cheapest and is purchasable for $6 million. The Pisces, which is the middle-class yacht, purchasable for $7 million. And the Aquarius, which is the highest and largest yacht, which is purchasable for $8 million. And with all the upgrades you can do, the max price would be anywhere from $6 million to $10 million. So if you don't have a yacht, you've got to add that to the list, which means it's going to make this update a little bit more expensive. For players like myself, I know I already have a yacht, so not something I have to deal with too terribly much, but it's something you might have to consider. Now, other than that, the only other thing I noticed that you might be able to purchase could be some various miscellaneous things. So things like clothing, maybe new masks and accessories and haircuts potentially. Although I haven't really seen anything too much in the various screenshots that Rockstar have shown off, that seems like it's the only other thing that you might have to end up making a purchase. Because the rest of the things that Rockstar offered, it seems like you'll be able to participate in really without having to own anything. But on that note, one of the things that Rockstar talked about was business battles. And if you want to participate in the new variants of that, you're going to have to own a nightclub introduced in the After Hours update. So this means you'll have to purchase a nightclub and end up starting that business. And the nightclubs are priced kind of modestly. The least expensive one is on Elysian Island for $1,080,000, and the most expensive one is in West Vinewood for $1,700,000. So if you don't have a nightclub, you'll have to add that price to the list as well to be able to participate in this stuff. Now, the other thing that's going on is Diamond Casino and Resort adversary modes. I don't think you have to have a membership at the resort or even a penthouse to play the adversary modes that take place there. That would seem a little bit silly considering you can just walk in the Diamond Casino and Resort normally. If you do have to have a regular membership, it's like $500, so I'm not even going to include that on the list. The other thing is new open wheel races, the open wheel race creator. You don't have to buy anything to participate in that. And then they said there will just be a number of general improvements and fixes, which will obviously come for free. So if you want to purchase everything on day one or participate in everything that requires a potential purchase, you're looking at roughly around $15 million just for the cars, and then potentially about $6 to $11 million more for the nightclub you need to own and for the Galaxy Super Yacht that you need to own. Now again, not all those cars will be available on day one, so you're not going to need all of that up front. And most of you guys might already own a nightclub and might already own a Galaxy Super Yacht, so you won't have to incur that cost as well. And then potentially like $500,000 to $1 million for the various other things that Rockstar might add: clothing, accessories, haircuts, and whatnot. So this will obviously be very exciting to see how much the update costs when it does arrive on day one. As always, I'll be sure to keep you guys posted, and when that day arrives, we'll be doing a spending spree. We'll be checking out all the new content together. So it's something that will be really fun. Can't wait to check that out with you guys. But for now, that is how much money I think you're going to need. I'd love to hear from you guys again in the comments down below. Do you think you're going to need more than the amount of money that I suggested, a whole lot less? Let me know what you guys are thinking in those comments down below. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and Summer Special DLC videos that I'm going to be doing here on my channel over the next couple of days, weeks, and months. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.